All right, let's see how this rolls on day two of what you might call multi-streaming here. So still working out the kinks here, but hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Let me move that right there, and we are good to go. All right. Hey everyone. Been a long day here. I know the market's been actually we had that $1,000 day. It was either gonna be a really big day or a really bad day. It ended up being a bad day. Despite that, things I think are still actually going okay. We have a lot of news to talk about here today. And hey Wilder, hey altcoin, I appreciate you being here, guys. What I want to do today is pretty much talk about some Bitcoin technical analysis, going over what coins are popping off the most right now. And then after that, we're going to be looking at some news from Kraken, because Kraken's thinking of going to nuclear power, which is going to be interesting there, because nuclear power plus AI plus crypto, that's a really good combination, if you ask me. And so I wanted to talk about that. And then I wanted to watch a few videos here because it looks like there's some news brewing around the Biden campaign, what may be happening there. That may be upsetting to some of the people in the crypto community, so that could be interesting for us. Then we're going to be looking at some of the Bitcoin videos out, one from Fox Business and one from, I believe it was CNBC. That way you guys have a little bit of an idea of what's going on here. But before that, let me give a treat to Loki. I have to buy some new treats for Loki actually tomorrow. I'm getting low on these ones. I want him to have some good old duck jerky treats, because he's a big fan of that duck jerky. So here's Loki's little treat. You can see him coming up. Oh, look at you being a good boy. Oh, wish you a good boy. What? Okay, good boy. Yeah, she's a good boy. So Loki's having a good time too. We were outside for about a couple hours today, so he was I don't know, he's just having a good day, right? I enjoyed the fresh air. I keep on waking up with a lot of allergies, so I'm just like, I need to take my allergy medication, wipe my face off. I have like baby wipes for my face in the day right now because my allergies are so bad. And so I'm working on fighting against nature, I guess you might say. So Loki's having a good time. You can kind of see his tail wagging right here. But that's because he's been chill. I was going to go actually to the cigar lounge last night, but I didn't because I was so tired from the whole day. Today, more active, everything's doing well, a lot of stuff to talk about here, and just, a good vibe. And hey, Villa, happy to see my man, and Cody, happy to see both of you guys as well. All right, let me make sure to do this. I'm still getting used to the multi-streaming here, people, so just bear with me as I do this, because there's like comments coming from other directions, which is always something I'm not used to. All right, so let's break down what's going on with Bitcoin. You can see Mr. Play knows right here. Oh, you guys can't see his face. Yeah, but yeah, he's having a good time. Making my hands like drooly. Oh, and Christmas in July. I made myself some African chai tea today. I haven't had African chai in a while, but I spent a lot of money on this in downtown Seattle, so like I might as well try some out here. Oh yeah, the expensive teas to me work best just because I don't put sugar in it, because I'm dieting and whatnot. So it makes it a good vibe, right? Makes it a really good vibe. And hey, GT, happy to see you. Loki says hello back as well. All right, let's start off with this very fast. Okay, let's really focus on the longer term here, then kind of break it down by each time frame here, just to make it a little bit easier. The longer term time frames, we know we still are pretty bearish as far as the oscillators are concerned. Momentum is gaining week by week on the bearish direction. That being said here, the overall trend has been up. We've been in these predicaments a few times before in the history of Bitcoin, like during this bull market, and we didn't really do anything too crazy here. It was rough, but it wasn't too crazy. So I'm hoping that same trend will kind of stay alive for us, so where we might turn a little bit more bearish, but things overall are still looking good for us, I would say, which is why we continue to dollar cost average and stuff like that. It looks like so far 80% of you guys are still dollar cost averaging, which I think is a pretty good thing there. Now, the daily chart, this is where we start to have more hope. We're trying to figure out if we can bounce from this support level and start moving back up here towards at least the midpoint around 66, 67,000. Or perhaps if we start making our way back up here towards 72,000, 73,000. I don't know if we're making our way back up there in a short amount of time. That might take 2 to 3 weeks of really good news coming out, but there's always the opportunity. What I wanted to point you guys to, though, as we zoom in here on the daily chart, is that because of this $1,000 day that we had today, we actually did not see the MACD turn green, which kind of just bums me out a little bit. So what I'm thinking might be happening right now is an opportunity for a dip and a rip. We really only have maybe 1 or 2 more days to actually have a substantial move before we start to see some of these oscillators start to flip back around and push Bitcoin back down towards below $60,000. And that's why I'm like, please let us just hurry up and get this over with. And I know it's okay if it takes a couple more days, but primarily if we're loading up for a position right here, that could pump us up over the next few days. We typically want that move to happen sooner rather than later. And that's why I see the 4-hour chart coming into play right now. We still have a bullish change of character here. Now, this may not be the best one. Of course, when we talk about these, they're very short-term trades just because everything else, the daily and the weekly, are still bearish. That being said, we still have the opportunity for the 4-hour to give the daily enough time to actually have its own reversal, which may not lead to $80,000 Bitcoin on the weekly charts, but on the daily charts, it could easily get us back up to $66,000, $67,000. And I think that would make people calm down enough where perhaps you might actually see altcoins having some really large booming effects. What I was doing today was actually looking at Ethereum here, just because Ethereum, as you guys know, has some news coming out fairly soon, and I'm hoping that this may drive the price higher, just like what the spot Bitcoin ETFs did back over a few months ago. So right now you're seeing this also resting up against that 20-day moving average here, with an opportunity of heading back up here towards $3,500 or $3,556. Not the largest move, but I'm hoping that because we are looking for some type of announcement coming next week, when that announcement comes through, we might not have a move this significant, but we should be able to have a move that might be able to push us back up here towards 37.57, which I think would be pretty nice. So I'm waiting to see if we can actually have that MACD turn more aggressive and be more positive here. After that, I'm thinking of doing a long here with the stop loss, probably about 32.27-ish, and then waiting to see if we're able to break out and go back above to this zone between these two order blocks. You may try to aim for up here on 3,800. For now, I'm just going to aim for 3,700 and see if that's enough for me to make some good profit. It'll be something more like a 5x level trade, maybe a 10x level trade if I really like where it's going. And I'm going to continue to dollar cost average this one. Last one here is Solana. Solana's been pumping up quite a bit here after its pretty nasty drop over the last few weeks. This has been getting more news, I would say, around the ETFs as of late. But still, I think Ethereum is really the leader there. Usually when we talk about Ethereum and Solana, though, Solana has a market cap of 72 billion, 71 billion. Ethereum has a market cap of 411 billion. So, when you think about how much upside each one has, I typically am going to be loading up more on this for the long term here than Ethereum, just because that market cap difference. They're both really good plays, but you might see Solana actually outpace the growth of Ethereum just from a market cap perspective. So just in case you guys are looking for something, I don't want to buy Ethereum, the market cap is too high, Solana is a good secondary choice for a lot of you guys out there, and the liquidity seems to be pretty good as well here. So let me make sure that move there is working out okay. On top of that, we're at a 50-day moving average. We might be able to break out. Last time we did, it was a very good impact. The time before that, it still ended up being pretty good here. Usually when we break out above the 50, there is some type of larger move occurring. So again, keep an eye on that. It's a resistance level, not a breakout. Just keep that in mind as well. You might want to wait for us to break out above it and then wait for that rally to take us on a little bit higher. All right, let me go back over here to Bitcoin very fast. I just want to break down some other news for you guys. Overall, the charts, bearish on the daily, bullish on the 4-hour, bearish on the 1-hour, and bullish on the 15. We're in mixed la land right now. So the type of trades you guys are doing are much more, like I said before, 5 to 6 to 12 hours long. Not much longer than that, unless you guys are hoping for something much more long term. And right now that data really doesn't really vibe with going up at this point, right? That's what we're hoping for CPI reports and PPI reports next week to really get this train going. All right. As far as the big movers today, I was trying to see if there was anything really still moving off compared to yesterday. It looks like Floki has taken over Bonk's spot as that next big leader. Money is rotating in between these meme coins right now, so meme coins still seem to be the best place to be. Beam is also making some good moves, Rose and Python. I would still say the meme coins still seem to be the place to be for really rapid moves and price action, where you guys could trade, make some money, hop out without having to hold for days and days and days to make that that 10% return, that 15% return that you've been looking for a lot of other AI tokens or altcoins that just haven't really been manifesting as of late, right? And hey, Poker Life, happy to see my man. Do not block a hacker. Sorry, my name, a problem with another YouTuber. Let's see, we're trying to do one look. Very strong. Oh, okay. All right, but basically here, guys, this is the CoinDesk article I wanted to share with you guys. Crypto exchange Kraken is considering going nuclear. So there's a massive demand for energy from high-performance computing and artificial intelligence firms, and it's changing the landscape in terms of power stability, the company's CTO said in an exclusive interview with CoinDesk. Now, there's just a few notes I want to break down for you guys. It's not going to be too boring here, I promise, but I think this is going to be interesting because everybody keeps on talking about clean energy and all that type of stuff. And I think right now, nuclear energy is a really good source of power if it's done right. And I think America, we have enough regulations to get it done right. So you guys don't know Kraken. Kraken is considering using nuclear energy as a power source for its data centers. The crypto exchange is looking to partner with energy providers that can supply small modular reactors. The company is exploring nuclear power options in North America and Europe. So they're trying to expand really well that capital is. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to do anything different in other types of parts of the world, like maybe Asia or Dubai area, Middle East. I wonder if they can actually make some moves there. So one of the quotes is, with institutions moving into the crypto asset class and activity moving on chain, the need for reliable fiat on-ramps continues to grow. Bolstering our energy resiliency, means we strengthen a direct avenue into the crypto ecosystem, supporting its continued growth. So I'm thinking I'm going to start to pay more attention to Kraken. I really have distanced myself from Kraken, I would say, over the last few, like a year or so, just because once they got banned for me, I had no reason to ever pull up the website or look into anything related to it, just because, again, they've been banned where I live, so I have no actual way to even go on the website and stuff like that. So a little bit different here. Let me make sure this is actually popping up right here. All right, now I wanted just to watch a few things here as far as YouTube. We got a couple of videos. One is Fun Strats, Tom Lee talking about Bitcoin, how he sees it going to $150,000, which is kind of interesting. Next one is going to be Pompliano talking with Fox Business. And then there's one thing about some weird stuff going on with Biden, I guess, with the debate. I just wanted to talk about some of those going on because I don't know what's going on there, but that can really change the trajectory for cryptocurrency. Oops. If something is coming on along there in a different way. Let me fix something on my end. Mic monitor was way too high. There we go. All right. So let's listen to this. I'm not going to watch the entire video here. We're really just watching the last couple minutes at the end. I think it's 1 minute basically. And this is Thomas Lee. He's basically talking about Bitcoin here, and this is the setup for it. Okay, so let's get started here and make sure the audio is set up.
You know that my insecurity about crypto manifested itself again in my feet of clay, because I said, Tom Lee's going to be absolutely right about the 5,500. Why is he still saying 150 for Bitcoin? Why do that? Why not just focus on stock? Don't stick your neck out, because it was falling below 60,000. Now it's back to almost 63,000. So that 6 trillion we just talked about, that sort of plays into your Bitcoin thesis.
That's right. Bitcoin's probably suffering from the Mt. Gox, starting distributions in July. That was a huge overhang for many years. But if I was invested in crypto knowing that one of the biggest overhangs is going to disappear in July, I think it's a reason to actually expect a pretty sharp rebound in the second half. So I think 150 is still within.
It's already July 1st, so so you're not taking that off the table. That's still a possibility.
That's right. And one thing to keep in mind, Bitcoin makes most of its gains with 10 days every year. If you take out the 10 best days in a single year, Bitcoin actually has negative returns.
Right. So that was actually pretty interesting right there. I don't know what you guys' price target is for Bitcoin. Maybe it's 150,000. Maybe it's at 100,000. Who knows? When we talk about some of those resistance levels for us, we usually pull out the Fibonacci's and we look at some of those levels of resistance, like over here, over here, over here. The next one is at 104,000. The one after that is at 174,000. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a couple Fibonacci levels in between here that we have to keep an eye on if we want to match Tom's, his idea of where we might be going. For me right now, I think Bitcoin will at least get to $104,000. After that, it's really going to be, who knows, maybe after we break out above $104,000, maybe that's where you see altcoin to really start to, have some larger moves, you might say. But I do think after 100,000 it becomes a lot more risky to hold, where if you guys are buying right now, you guys are much more likely to be scaling out at these points in time, whether it's 104,000, 90,000, 150,000, 120,000, whatever. You're scaling out, and while you're scaling out, you're also doing a lot of swing trading within those times, because the moves are going to be very fast and fierce. And by just having a 5x leverage hold on a lot of these different AI tokens or meme tokens or metaverse tokens, whatever they may be, you are going to be looking for some type of return, which is going to be pretty darn decent, especially if you're only going to be holding it for maybe a month, because everything is going to happen so darn fast. Now, and hey, Ken, happy to see you back, man. And hey, Bitcoin Backpacker, I appreciate that a lot. I tried a I try to have this be as chill as possible. What I'm working on right now is more of just like transition stuff for the daily content I'm making. I don't think I'm gonna change the stream style as much as I was before. What I've kind of been learning is I kind of like keep track of with a lot of my friends about the views. When Bitcoin, Bitcoin investors are very passive people. I don't know. That probably has not probably the best word, but basically when the market's sideways, they all go dormant. But when the market starts going back up again, everybody rushes back. So I've kind of given up on most things as far as streaming for it now. All I'm doing right now is going to be making a lot of videos and stuff, and I'm still learning how to edit, but I've become a lot better at editing, and you guys will see this, I think, sometime starting next week, where I actually, before that, I have another video coming out, sorry for the crazy tangent, where I'm going to be talking to you guys about maybe about 10 minutes or something like that, and I'll be breaking down how you guys can, make some generational wealth if you guys just understand the way the government is designed to help those with large amounts of shares in companies. And you guys will see some ways that you guys can just, buy for the long-term, hold in the stock market primarily, and just don't freak out every single time the market goes down or up, because the long game really does work out when you figure out where that government money is going into everything. But yeah, so good things going there. I thought this interview was so bullish because CNBC hardly ever mentions crypto. See, what CNBC does, and I'll pull this up for you very fast here. What CNBC does typically is they try to separate it off to make themselves seem a little bit better. So if I go over here to CNBC, you're going to see they have these videos and stuff like this, a bunch of stuff about stocks. And then right here, every now and again, you're going to see something called Crypto World. It's going to be anywhere from maybe 12 minutes to 20 minutes where they're talking about cryptocurrencies. I think it's okay, but really the news that comes from this is not something that I usually care about, because the people that they have on, they're not interesting people, I would say, right? So I don't know. I've never really paid attention to them too much, but they have a whole page dedicated to it. If you go over here to cnbc.com, you'll know that they actually have a section for crypto now right there, right? Crypto. They used to hate having this up here. Nope. And let me zoom out of this just a little bit more here. Right? So now you can see all of your crypto prices up here. Funny enough, they have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. I mean, how outdated is that to have all of those tokens there? I would be expecting Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, something else. Maybe XRP can be up there, but it just feels odd having those there. And then finally, markets over here, cryptocurrency. Right? You can see all this stuff over here, but it's not really a lot. It's not really a lot, I would say. I'm hoping that they will do it better over time, but I know they have a section here. I just don't exactly know what it is. Personal finance, investing. Actually, better yet, crypto world, crypto world. I know it's here. It's just not easy to find through the website, I would say. There you go. Crypto world right here. Maybe I'll actually just put a bookmark here in case they ever have anything I like. Silvergate Bank sales. SEC claims it failed to monitor 1 trillion in crypto transactions. Bitcoin jumps back above 63,000. So they have them. It's just, I don't know. It's always been kind of weird for me. I don't like this style of crypto coverage. But maybe I'll be there one day, right? So let me go back over here. This one right here. So this is a 5-minute video. I'll just kind of be skipping along it, or I'll be pausing and talking about it, I would say. What I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier just for myself is I'm just going to zoom in like that, and it'll make everything just a little bit easier, I would say. That way you guys can see what's going on. But this is Fox Business. This is Pompliano on there talking, and he basically goes on to say, explaining how Bitcoin ETF inflows of 14.5 billion have softened the volatility, how holders are buying the dip, and speaks on the issues with Ethereum. I didn't know there was any issues with Ethereum, so I kind of want to hear exactly what that is about here.
But I think it's pretty significant that as the price has fallen of Bitcoin, we have a pretty significant inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs yesterday.
Buy the dip.
Is this a gutsier or more aware crowd that says, I want to participate in the cryptocurrency movement?
I think that retail investors and institutions have both realized that Bitcoin is a resilient asset that's going to be worth a lot more 5 or 10 years from now than it is today. And therefore, when there are these dips, they look at them as buying opportunities. And if you think of great investors, they understand what they own. And when those assets go down in price, they buy more. And so it's the people who actually question, if the price moves against me and should I buy more, They just may not understand what they actually own. And so what's interesting is if we go back over the last couple of bull and bear market cycles in Bitcoin, we used to see a lot of 30% drawdowns. In 2017, there was 5 or 6 different 30% drawdowns. In the last cycle, we saw a couple of 25% drawdowns. Now what we're starting to see is only about 15% drawdowns. And so the volatility is actually being dampened, and there's this persistent kind of inflow coming from these.
I just wanted to show you what he's talking about very fast. He's talking about these drawdowns where basically we peak for a while, then we come back down. That's a big buying opportunity. We don't really have as many of them this cycle, but I do think we have enough where they should be mentioned, because you see right here, we went from a high to a low. That was 24% down. This was the height of the banking crisis when there were banks like Silicon Valley Bank falling apart. So that was kind of an outlier, I might say, but it still, it still came down. Over here, we came down about 21%. The next time we came down about another 21%. Over here, I know the Bitcoin spot ETFs were kind of crazy. That was about a 22%. And the most recent one over here over the past few days, that one came back down kind of around 23% here. And you might say this next one was kind of around 20% to 19%. So we still are seeing some of these drawdowns. I just think what he's probably trying to talk about is every time we have one of these, they somehow just manage to get bought and back up. And that's a good sign overall for cryptocurrencies, and specifically Bitcoin, which he's talking about.
These ETFs, which historically was not there. And so I think that really serves as this great tailwind for Bitcoin going through the end of the year.
You just said that some investors buy things they don't understand. I think a lot of people who are in Bitcoin might not understand it. They don't understand what causes it to move, because sometimes if the stock market's falling, Bitcoin's up, or if the stock market's falling and Bitcoin is down. Can you give them any insight on this?
Yeah, what's really interesting is one of the great lies in the Bitcoin.
Okay, she's asking better questions than the CNBC people do. Damn. She's asking those like beginner questions that people just typically don't know all too much about.
Bitcoin world is that nobody cares about the price. Actually, price is the marketing for Bitcoin. There is no centralized team. There is no board of directors. There is no marketing budget. So what usually happens is when the price goes up, everyone starts talking about it. The media covers it, and people go and they say, oh, well, if it went up, maybe it's going to go up more, and they go and they buy some. And so
and then they go watch YouTubers like me, right?
People I know actually showed up to Bitcoin initially because they wanted to make money. They wanted to buy it and have it go up more. What ends up happening is as they start to hold that asset, it's very volatile. So it goes up a lot, goes down a lot, and it makes you start to say to yourself, what is this thing that I hold? And it puts them on this learning journey. And so what ends up happening is you go from a speculator looking for price appreciation to someone who then begins to appreciate things like sound money principles and turns you into a long-term holder. And so if you look on chain, you can literally see majority of people who hold Bitcoin are not selling it when it goes down in price or when it goes up.
They're holding.
But they're holding. But
that's kind of why we'd like to do our dollar cost averaging here, but it's also why I recommend having those longer term portfolios where you're maybe just holding about like 3 to 5 of the largest market caps, and you're kind of just letting it sit. That can be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, plus 2 of your favorites out there, whatever you feel the most passionate about. But definitely, it makes a difference.
People definitely are showing up initially because they think that I can buy this thing and it goes up, 2x and I'm going to sell it. And so over time, the Bitcoin community has to educate those individuals, whether they're retail or institutions, to become those long-term holders.
Well, if this is any metric, Michael Dell put out a tweet. He put out a poll. Did you hear about this? And in this poll, he asked, what is the most important thing to you in your life?
And hey, Sin, happy to see you guys that are just coming in here. Yeah, basically, I like this poll a lot. The most important thing to you, AI, Bitcoin, love and relationships, none of the above.
Is it Bitcoin? Is it AI? Is it love and relationships, or none of the above? 43% said Bitcoin. 39% said love and relationships. But I mean, clearly a lot of Bitcoin aficionados like Michael Saylor dropped in and probably punched that up. But you've got Michael Dell as a multi-billionaire. And then you've got people who are just regular folks who are buying this crypto. The SEC said sometime this summer we would have a second choice, an Ether ETF. When do you expect that will happen?
I definitely think it's going to happen, sometime this summer, July, August. There's more and more rumors that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So in the next couple of weeks, potentially. But I do think that Ether has somewhat of a problem that Bitcoin doesn't have, which is, Bitcoin is the larger asset, about $1.2 trillion. Ether, about $400 billion. So there's a size component here of just how much money can institutions really put into Ether versus Bitcoin. But the bigger problem, I think, is the story. If I go on the street and I ask somebody, what is Bitcoin? A lot of people will say some version of it's a store of value, right? You put it there, it's going to be resilient, it's going to allow for the protection against the debasement of the currency. If I go and ask those same people, what is Ether or what is Ethereum? It's a very convoluted, complex story. And so some people will tell you it's a world computer. Some people will tell you it's an app store. Some people will tell you that it's
attached to it.
There's all kinds of stories. And so the story just isn't as clear. And I think one thing we've seen over the years is, look into the public markets. If you're a single company with a single product serving a single market, it's pretty clear what you do. But if you go and you look at things like conglomerates, a lot of times because it's what is this thing? There's too many moving pieces. They actually trade at a lower multiple.
And they end up having to spin off parts of it.
Correct.
Really quickly, what is the high end of the range?
So that's actually pretty interesting. I don't think that's necessarily a horrible thing for Ethereum, to be honest. I think Ethereum doing all this stuff, it's just going to branch out even more, but it's all going to be that huge conglomerate size. So you have Ethereum up here and a whole bunch of different layers and different branches of the tree, basically. But I'm not too disheartened by the Ethereum talk there.
You see Bitcoin at for the rest of this year?
I think that Bitcoin will continue to appreciate. I think we will get new all-time highs before the end of this year. I just think that the Bitcoin community should understand that now that we have institutions and ETFs here, the volatility will be dampened. And so it may not go up as high or as fast as you want it to, but still it's this asset that is going to continue to perform because they're not going to stop debasing the dollar.
So higher than the recent high of 73,000?
I think so by the end of the year.
Pomp, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
There you go. See, a little bit less bullish than Tom, but I wanted to share that with you nonetheless here. He's saying that because the ETFs have really been getting in here a lot more, we're not looking for such large moves as in the past. I still think Bitcoin can have some large moves. Basically, my reasoning for this is it's not just America involved in this process here. It's the rest of the world too. And the rest of the world can easily pump up Bitcoin with or without the help of Wall Street, basically. We've done it many times before. I'm sure we can do it again. All right. So one other thing here, this is something more about the election here because I just want you guys to give me your thoughts on this. So this is from RNC Research, definitely a left-leaning group, but right now they're showing a video from CNN, and basically it says Biden is now blaming his disastrous debate performance on a flurry of international travel, even though he spent a full week holed up in Camp David before the debate. CNN's MJ Lee, I find it a bit puzzling. Let's listen to this. I don't know what's going on there. I wonder if they are going to make a shift from president. I don't know if anybody would be better. I don't know. I don't know who would be taking his place, though. I just have no idea.
Apparently, the president apologized to everyone in the room, saying this is not an excuse, but it is an explanation. And he blamed the extensive foreign travel that he did in the lead up to the CNN debate for his poor performance. Just a reminder for everyone, he did go to France for the D-Day anniversary, and then he turned right back around and went to Italy for the G7 summit. And he told the room, I didn't listen to my staff. So the suggestion there being his staff did not think this was a good idea. And then he apparently said, I almost fell asleep on stage. I just want to unpack this new explanation for a second as the explanation for why his debate performance was so bad. I find it a little bit puzzling, and frankly, I'm not sure that a lot of people are going to find this reassuring. If anything, some folks might hear this and be, even more concerned. Yes, there were 2 foreign trips in the lead up to the June 27th CNN debate, but he returned from Italy on June 15th. The debate, again, was on June 27th. So we're talking about roughly 12 days in between when he was back in the States. And remember, a part of those 12 days, about a full week, he actually spent with his advisors at Camp David for the sole purpose of really focusing on debate prep. So why is the president falling asleep on the debate stage at the hours of 9 p.m. to 10:30?
Okay, yeah, that seems a little bit more troubling, I guess I would say at this point in time. I don't know if you guys think there is going to be somebody that takes Biden's spot. I honestly don't think so at this point in time. Maybe it'll be something more of a surprise, but we're going to have to wait and see how that one turns out. It's definitely going to be something more of a mess type of spot. And hey, Allison, you don't think we have a bear market again? I don't think we go straight into a bear market or anything like that. My theory is that we're going to consolidate for a while. Maybe we break down below the support, but we're going to be going sideways for a minute here until we have some good economic data and from the Fed saying, hey, we're going to be looking at rate cuts pretty soon. And as soon as we have that news, all of a sudden you are going to see Bitcoin start to shoot back up. I think people typically will panic just like they did way back over here in June because all of a sudden everything's not going straight up, and we're conditioned over the past few years to expect Bitcoin to go up like this, right? Smooth moves up, not looking at these longer, not taking as nearly as much time. All of that move happened very, very quickly here. Let me go over here to longer Bitcoin charts, right? Really, really rapid movement on the upside here, rapid movement there. Sure, we have some hiccups and stuff like that, But this time around, we definitely are just going sideways a lot more. And while I'm disappointed in that, I have to say, it's not really the end of the world, at least at this point. But I'd really like to see Bitcoin get back on track. But it's not going to be so much of technicals at this point. Yeah, it's much more of how the news is impacting everything, because we all have to pay attention to economic data. Whether it's next week, where I think we have CPI data, PPI data. If it's not good data, Bitcoin will probably drop to like the mid 50s. If it's great data, Bitcoin can go all the way back up to the mid 60s. And it's like as easy as that. But we have to really wait for that data. And in between, it's definitely just moving more sideways here, or maybe even more sideways and down, especially over the last few weeks here, because the Fed has turned more hawkish as of late. And right now, if you guys are looking at Bitcoin, you guys can see we're going down just a little bit more here. Hasn't been a big nasty move, but we're not looking at going back up here if we're not able to just hold, at least, just hold this support level here. All right, let me go back over here very fast. And hey, Chef, happy to see my man. This random stray cat just walked in my apartment. I don't know what to do. Oh, man, I don't know what to do with that type of stuff. My cat might have chased it out. You can give it some milk out on the porch. You can do a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I'd be careful because I don't like to get fleas and shit on my carpets, but I don't know, give it some milk, let it chill outside. It'll go back outside in a little bit later. Hopefully it's not too hot or cold or stuff like that right now. And you should be a little bit more, you should be fine. All right, let me go back over here very fast. So is anything actually moving on right now on my watch list here? I'm looking at some few things here. Everything seems to be just okay. The only thing that seems to be moving a little bit was GameStop today, but that wasn't really much. Let's see. Everything's really slow right now. I think everything's trying to make a choice. Let me hop on over here to the 4-hour chart and just go through the list here. So Bitcoin 4-hour chart, we have that golden cross here. We see bearishness though, unfortunately, for the MACDs and stochastics. What else do we have here? Ethereum still holding on. Solana looks pretty bullish here, but you got to buy the dip for that one. Dogecoin still going sideways here, hopefully making a move. Bonk went up a little bit more, but still ultimately just going down here a little bit. Look at this. WIF is coming down a lot. Bonk sideways. Miro sideways. It looks like Bitcoin's getting some selling pressure right now, and that's really putting some pain on all these altcoins. What's the dollar index doing at this point in time? So today we had the dollar index actually come down here. That's good news for us. And let's get rid of that very fast, just so I don't have to drag and drop it every time. Yeah, we might see the dollar index break down here. That may be interesting. Now, we have another 2 days before this closes here, and I believe over the next few days there's going to be holidays and stuff like that, so it's going to make the market a little bit more tipsy, if you will. But we're on the verge of either a large breakout with the dollar index or a large breakdown. At this point in time, let's look at the daily chart. It's teetering like it wants to break down a little bit more. I would say at this point, though, let me see this. The weekly chart is from there to there, and you can see how it continued on with the weekly chart. The daily chart, you can see how it broke down for multiple days. But maybe, for this example, perhaps we just look at it like this, and maybe we see the dollar index come back down here towards maybe 104.73. I'd be about $1 less than where we are right now, and that could open up some doors. I believe, we should have that large decisive breakout or decisive breakdown moment upcoming next week. When is the CPI data coming out here, guys? Okay, sorry. My computer's been doing something kind of funky lately, and I don't know exactly what it is. But my total socket power has been maxing out when normally it never maxes out. So I have no idea what's going on there. It might be the multi-streaming or something, so I'll have to wait and see. There you go, July 11th, 2024. Where's the next one at? Okay, let's go back over here. Yeah, so it's coming out July 11th, 2024. So that is going to be next Thursday is going to be the CPI report there. Thursday, thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. There we are. So give this a few more days. Next Thursday is basically right here in the scheme of things. If we can actually have a good CPI report, we'll come down quite a bit. The last time we had the CPI report was June 12th. Oh yeah, you can see that big spike. So CPI, and this was the Fed meeting. So the Fed meeting will outpace the CPI, to be honest, but hopefully the CPI, another good month of it, will continue that trend of saying, hey, we should be looking at cuts here pretty soon. I believe the job numbers are slowing down too. Slowing jobs numbers. Let's check this out, guys. So this is May 6th, May, June. No, we need to see. Marketplace. This might be the most recent one. So for anyone looking, there were 8.1 million job openings out there in May, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 200,000 more than the previous month. Overall, the number of jobs has been bopping up and down over the past couple years, but generally trending down. That's good. We want to see it trending down because that makes inflation a little bit better for us. Let's see. Anything? I need to figure out. I want to figure about multi-job holders. I want to look at a chart for the data though. Yeah, I mean, look at this. So you can see that like from 2000 all the way to now, the amount of people that have multiple jobs. If I go back over here since maybe 2008, the Great Recession, you can see that number is going up quite a bit here when they need to have multiple jobs to sustain themselves. It used to bob around a little bit more, especially back over here in 2015 to 2020, I guess COVID and whatnot. 2021, it seems like something happened there. I guess it's just kind of when inflation started to kind of pick up a little bit more. Prices started to get a little bit higher. New car, new apartments. You wanted to live somewhere, you know. Remember, after COVID was over, the lockdowns ended. We had those like price locks on apartments and stuff. They wanted all their money back, so they were increasing prices like crazy. So it looks like things are not that good there. And so I wonder, multiple job holders. So this is just multiple job holders. Let's see this one right here. So it's going back up quite a bit here, but not nearly as bad as I would say. Let's see. Stretch that out. Oh no, it's higher than where it was in the pandemic. Ouch. Yeah. Okay, that is that's a problem. So I'm wondering, what will that mean if? Well, I guess no. It's probably only going to be more and more people. You know, I guess if they want to keep on spending all this money, they're going to have to get a second job. If they get a second job, they can keep on spending, right? But if they don't get the second job, that means that that's where the economy really starts to falter because it's just not enough money in the consumer's pocket to spend on all these goods. I don't know. That's going to be a little bit more confusing for me over the next few days. Bitcoin looks to be breaking down right now as well, so just be a little bit more prepared for that. Let me see. There we are. Okay. Been swing trading them and doing all right. Oh, there you go. Tasty calls. You see the Tesla pump? I did see it. They had better than expected results with deliveries, I heard. Maybe like by another 10 to 15,000 vehicles. That's a lot of good news for Tesla. Remember, I believe Tesla is still getting some tax credits and stuff like that, which is going to be good news for them. Anytime the government is backing a company, usually it's going to be a good play. Just be careful because when the company loses... well, I guess Elon Musk is probably the exception to this rule, but if they stop losing as much funding, the company could go through some really bad times. But right now, Tesla is still doing very good. And can we get a 2% CPI with the DXY at current levels, say 6 to 8 months down the road? Yes, we can get back down to 2%. However, it would be something more of a panic for the overall economy. The way I think the Fed is looking at it is we're probably just going to be back around 2.3 to 2.5%. If you guys want to see a 2.0% inflation, you're really going to have to see jobs start to get really offloaded here. A lot more layoffs, a lot more stuff like that, where people are going to be much more concerned about the overall state of the economy. And if you guys know what's going on right now, of course, it's election season. There's a lot more manipulation of the data, a lot more stuff happening. I think right now, aren't they supposed to be manipulating the oil prices right now? Biden oil reserves. Let's go to news. And let's go over here to, I think it was the last few days, the past like week or something. Biden walks fine line fighting climate change while fueling record oil output. There you go, Scripps News. So Biden administration to sell 1 million barrels of gas from reserves to lower prices. The sale mandated by Congress comes as a record number of Americans will travel over Independence Day. The Biden administration announced Tuesday, let me zoom in here a little bit more so you guys can see. There we go. It completed the sale of 1 million barrels of gasoline from the Northeast Gasoline Supply Reserve, a move officials hope will further bring down the cost of gas and other goods as record numbers of Americans are expected to travel surrounding the July 4th holiday. Hopefully you guys are going to have a good 4th of July, excuse me. Let's see. Originally created in 2014 after Hurricane Sandy left many Americans stranded without fuel, the reserve, which stored refined gasoline as opposed to unrefined petroleum held in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, proved costly to maintain, and Congress ordered its liquidation in the most recent government funding agreement. White House officials say they did not anticipate restocking it anytime soon. The reserve was set up for a certain period of time. We don't need it anymore, Congress agreed. Amos Hochstein, senior advisor to the president for energy investment, told Scripps News on Monday in an interview at the White House. So, how are gas prices doing then? AA gas prices. No, we want AAA gas prices here. And I know we checked this out. Yes, I think it was still getting more expensive. So yeah, gas is a penny more than it was yesterday, 4 cents higher than it was a few days before, a week ago. It's still about where we were a month ago, and it's still about where we were a year ago. So gasoline prices haven't really gone up or down too much, which is kind of crazy because, as you just saw in one of those other articles, we're at record output. There's some really crazy stuff going on right now, and I'm not entirely sure how to figure out exactly what's going on. Like, what is keeping oil prices so high at this point? Like, my personal opinion is the fact that everybody's still pricing in much more climate control activism at the end of, over the next 20, 30 years, right? That's kind of why I'm holding oil stocks, because I believe they're going to be in value for a long time. But they do fluctuate a lot with the current oil prices. So, April 9th. Okay, let me see. Anytime past week. Just summer demand, it looks like. Another 2% to a 2-month high on Monday in hopes of rising demand during Northern Hemisphere summer driving season, and worries that conflict in the Middle East could spread and reduce global oil supplies. I don't think we're going to see much more of a much more unrest in the Middle East, I guess I would call it. I haven't been paying attention to anything going on with Israel and Israel, Ukraine, or Hamas and Russia. You know what I'm talking about. I don't see much of that on the news anymore. I see right now a lot of Biden stuff, a lot of the debate stuff going on. But even before then, I don't even think we do too much to. We're not looking at it all too much at this point. And even if you are paying attention to a little bit, like I pay attention more to the Middle East, obviously, than the Ukraine stuff because of oil prices. But I haven't really found an excuse for how that conflict will grow a lot. It seems like Israel's just going to crush Gaza. They may even just occupy it after everything's said and done. They may kick all those people to the West Bank and have them live there. And then they're going to just take it all over for Israel. I think that's kind of where they're headed, even though they're not saying it. And then they won't have the rockets from Gaza coming over anymore into Israel. So they'll feel a little bit safer. And then the Palestinians over there will they're kind of the short end of the stick, so to speak. But, that's the way the world works right now. So maybe I don't think that really does much. Maybe the fact that they may not give the land back, maybe that'll be the big effect here. But I don't really see how that's going to really escalate things further, right? And hey, Jermaine, appreciate that, my man. Appreciate it. Double tap the screen and mobile. Oh yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, right now, guys, Bitcoin's definitely looking more bearish. I was hoping, though, remember I was getting optimistic because I was like, okay, we could have one day of us having the green MACD. Everything might turn bullish just for a little bit, and then we can start pumping back up here a little bit more to $66,000. Right now, we need to hold this level. We need to not flush down today. If we flush, it's going to be painful. I would say right now it's imperative that Bitcoin at least tries to go sideways from here on out. If we were to break down a little bit more, really not breaking back down below 61,400 or about, I think that's going to be the goal for us today. Maybe we'll work down a little bit more, but we're going to have some type of positive buying activity here to get us to pump back up, have a breakout from there, right? And then start to go back towards the glorious mid 60s here, because right now we're at the low 60s and it's not, we're not feeling so hot, are we? Here's the 5-minute chart just so you guys can see what's going on. WIF is coming down quite a bit. I know we talked about this. Pepe coming down a little bit. Floki coming down. Floki was looking pretty good up until a few minutes ago. FA is up okay a little bit. This is much more of a smaller market cap token though. AI token still coming down a little bit here as well. I think I'm just going to sell my token and get it over with and just hold it at this point, and then just wait for that new token to come out. But I'm not entirely sure on that. I think I'm just going to go that way to make it easier for my poor little brain. I lured it out with milk. Good call. Yeah, what do you call it? I used to live in Montana, and one of my friends, she had a lot of barn cats and stuff, and if they ever got into the house, they lured it out with milk. So milk usually does the good job. You feel good because you're giving the cat milk, and then the cat goes on its merry way, and then you may just see it around the house every now and again, around the apartment every now and again. But it's hard to, what do you call it? It's hard to get a cat out. Usually those things can be feisty, and when they want to fight, they can fight. NA Sol, thoughts on Tau? I wonder if it's going to be bearish like everything else right now. Let me see. Not Toa, but Tau. There we go. Oh, yeah, it's bearish like everything else right now. Whoosh. Oh, look at that. Falling down below too. So Tau, let me go over here to the weekly chart. I mean, this is something that continues to fall down here. I guess it'd be better just to look at it from... There we go. Oh, Super Trump is trending here with Bitcoin and Pepe. Pepe? I don't know how to pronounce that. T-A... Oh, there it goes. Okay. It's down 15% today, 1.6 valuation. I know it's a newer token. Go to all. Opened up in 2023. So let me see if I can pull this up from here, because that is not 2023. That's 2024. So let's go over here to Tau. BitGet perhaps. There we go. That's the one we've been using. Oh yeah. You can see some of these levels of support, resistance, and stuff like that. Fibonacci extensions have been working out well, but this thing is heading back down to about 212, possibly as far down as 197 here. You're gonna really hope this thing can really hold on here. I mean, this thing is oosh. It's a pain right now. Let me pop open. Is it the high? It was the high. Oh, that changes up a lot of stuff here. Let's open up a few different opportunities here. So some support, breaking down. Yeah, the next one really is just all the way back down here towards 195. There's not really much help for this one right now. We have some more down here, but let's not talk about that just yet. In fact, what I might do is I might try to... How's the monthly chart look on this one? Oh, that crazy spike right there messes up a lot of Fibonacci examples. There we go. We can try this out. High, low, high. Did this work out at all? A little bit. Still broke down. Maybe. You might find some support around 213, kind of matching still the support level from way back over here. But yeah, this isn't a lot of pain, and I would expect this thing to continue coming down. Maybe it's just because of... Well, let me check the weekly chart here. When did this thing really peak? Closer to March like everything else? I mean, this thing has gone from $685 all the way to $232. Everything from oscillators is screaming bearishness. Pulling up on this, you've had a few shorting opportunities. It looks like break of structure right here. Everything bearish. That worked out. That worked out quite a bit. Yeah, it seems like it wants to come back down here towards this level support, kind of between 200 and 220, I would say. But yeah, this is definitely more bearish. Let me check this out on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I mean, this thing's still pouring down here, and it's not even trying to hold the support levels all too much. Last few minutes, yeah, it only held for maybe an hour or something before it came down. Definitely looks like it wants to come down a little bit more here. Let me pull out the larger Fibonacci just so I can see. We can go from this point to that point here. All right, so some support right there, some support right here. Matching up right over here around 190. If you want to go from that Fibonacci, after that coming down here to 135. Maybe this might be an opportunity to dollar cost average some, but this thing is coming down a lot more aggressively than a lot of other tokens. What's going on with this one from down 70%? Yeah, has there been any news about this? Bidder sensor Tau. Let's go over here to Twitter. Why is it not twittering? Search. There you go. 3 hours ago, we are investigating what appears to have been an attack on a number of Bitensor wallets over the last 3 hours. We are investigating in an abundance of caution and have recently fully halted transactions on chain until there's more information available to us about the nature of this attack. So, they're going through some issues right now. That seems to be the problem here. Let's see. Tau community, Discord community administrator said that the Tau Foundation is investigating attacks on multiple Bitensor wallets. Pages and works. God, all that fire and stuff is wild. Key support zone on the daily chart. Yeah, I mean, that support level's gone now. I mean, it's coming back down to another a little bit more. Let's see. Sometimes news just kind of kills you here. And while the technicals are bearish, yeah, they're very, very bearish. It appears that that news is really causing some chaos there. Is the gift that keeps on taking. Never in my life have I traded an asset like that. It consistently dumps after having clocked in a higher low and higher high approaching the 200 EMA. Why do I keep trying to catch it? Yeah, it definitely makes it a little more difficult. And see, he keeps on trying to go long here, but you got to be careful because, again, the whole system is set for bearish activity right now. Weekly, bearish. The daily is bearish. So anything that you do, it has to be a very short time frame here. And it's definitely going through some stuff. So it's definitely much more of a news event than a technical event, but it's still coming down quite a bit because of the news event, if that makes sense. Let's hope that we can kind of figure out what's happening with that over the next few minutes or so, or next few days, I would say. Because if they figure it out, they'll let everybody know. They'll have trading on board. They'll allow transactions again. Excuse me. And I think that'll get that'll get everybody a little more excited about buying into it because sometimes you see some pretty nice bounces off of that, but it does not look good right now. It's bad that Israel Gaza. Oh yeah, it's not going to get better anytime soon. It's not going to get better at all, at all. And hey, Showtime Bills, happy to see my man. Do you think Kaspa will get much higher? Seems like a lot of hype and not a lot of built on it. A lot of promise with the KRC20. I think it'll go up only because of what's been going on with the general altcoin. So I don't see it going up because of anything they've been able to build. They can do minor building, but the altcoins can still take them higher. Where I think it's going to really hurt Kaspa in the long term here is I don't think it's going to see substantial growth, 5 years, 10 years from now. I don't think it's going to be one of those tokens that is still up towards the top 50, 100, 200. I think it may kind of die back down if it's not able to really put out something substantial for people to actually invest in. Remember, as we get more and more regulation, a lot of the tokens that we know and love, they probably won't even be available on a lot of the exchanges that we use. So everything from, why do you think Dogecoin is trying so hardly to partner up with Elon Musk? Because if that's a company type of format, then they can keep on being on different exchanges. But you think of a meme coin that's just a meme coin, there's nothing really special going on. You're probably not going to be able to see it on a lot of American exchanges. And not having the American capital and probably European capital to back it up, that really does make it much more difficult for people to actually get into those types of tokens. So when we go over to stuff like a DEX tools here, and hold on, Loki's over here for a treat break, it looks like. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? They really have to figure out a way to get some revenue coming in. It really make a big. Excuse me. Down. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, huh? All right, he's enjoying his little treats there, and he's Oh, you being a good boy? Yeah, you want to say hi? I don't know if he wants to or not, though. No, he wants to go get a toy, then come say hi, but I don't have time for that. No. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. This is said toy. Oh, he's already shredding it, too. Yep. He's a good boy. He just doesn't want to bite the part that I want him to bite. Rawr. There he goes. All right, back over here. Let me rethink to what I was saying. Oh yeah, they're just gonna have to figure it out. Like if you go here, let me just actually pull this up. Kaspa, home, and then let's go over here to CoinMarketCap. Let's go over to Kaspa. Let's pull these two side by side very fast, just so it makes it a little bit easier. Get rid of oil. Get rid of multiple jobs. Let's get rid of CPI. Let's get rid of no, that should be fine. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of CBSC, and I think we're good to go. All right. So you go over to the Kaspa website. What they're trying to do, it's actually good. It's very, very good, right? Kaspa is the fastest open source, decentralized, and fully scalable layer 1 in the world. The world's first block DAG digital ledger enabling parallel blocks and instant transaction confirmation built on a robust proof of work engine with a rapid single block intervals. So things are pretty good there. Built by industry pioneers, led by the people, yada, yada, yada. They have a Discord, Telegram, Reddit, GitHub Explorer. They have everything they need. The website is nice and crisp and clean. You can see everything you need to see. It's nice, right? Now, you go over here to the Ghost Dog white paper, or DAG, whatever you want to call it, Dark Knight white paper. You can look at all the other stuff there. You go over here a little bit more, and you go over to like the last year, right? It's still generally doing just fine, right? I think that's the good news for a lot of us. That being said, I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting for that big move to happen. I'm going to sell off a large chunk of it, and then I think you're going to be fine, right? The fact that they do have a lot of good stuff with it, makes me want to continue holding it, that type of stuff. But I don't know what they're going to do down the road here. You can see it's had a few pullbacks so far. I don't think they're like necessarily bad, 16 cents back down to 12 cents, 19 cents. What is that? 18 cents back down here to 10 cents. That's a pretty big move. But ultimately it comes back up. So I'm not too worried about it. It's just that when you think about what's been happening over the past, year, it's fine. Month, fine. 7 days, I would still say fine. Daily, down a little bit. Usually these dips are good buying opportunities for most people out there. But yeah, especially with the KRC20. Give it time. They should do it. You'll know a lot when it comes to the next bear market, and if they're still really doing a lot of building and stuff, or if they stop promoting the token on social media as much, like not as many tweets coming out, then it's slowly dying off a little bit more. But for now, continue to hold. It looks like the best thing you could do. Bitcoin bounced. Yes, it did. It's trying to, at least right now. It's definitely trying to. 15 is definitely giving up a little bit more ground here than we would like. Anyways, Jermaine, I might use paper money to try out leverage. I would highly recommend starting off with paper money when you want to do leverage. It makes life a lot easier, so much easier. Whether you're using, Fairdesk or Blowfin or CoinW or any of the other exchanges, if you guys live outside the United States, like a Binance or KuCoin, paper money just makes things a little bit easier, I would say, and that's good for us overall. The dollar index is also going up right now, which I think means something just happened here a few minutes ago on the news. So, Forex news. Take a sip of tea here very fast. There we go. News, latest analysis, Forex news. Let's see. Dollar index news, last hour. see. Now, I wonder if it has something to do with the Japanese yen, right? I don't know if I still have that on here. I guess I can just search for it, right? As the dollar index has gotten stronger here, I wonder if the Japanese yen has found a way to recover or if it's messing up still. JPY, USD. No, it's at new lows. This is what's going on here. Okay, this is also a pain. Remember how we talked about how the Bank of Japan propped up the currency for a little bit, and that was a really good time for Bitcoin, I believe? When was this? End of April, basically. What did I say it was? End of April, yeah. Oh yeah, right here. Got propped back up right there. That move right there happened at the same time as the Japanese propping up the currency. But right now, it's not working. They haven't been this low, again, since 1986. 1986. So if the currency starts to fall and crumble, that's going to be bad for the dollar index. That's going to be bad for cryptocurrency here, which is not good. Maybe this will spur Jerome Powell to act a little bit faster. Japan's in a little bit of a crisis here. Remember, Japan has the third largest economy. We haven't checked this out in a minute here, and it's still breaking down. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys think Japan is going to be able to figure that out? It doesn't look like it, but, you know, maybe they have some hope here. Whoosh. Have I heard of SPA? I have not heard of SpareX. See, let me check it out very fast. SPA. Dollar goes up, yen goes down. I mean, but yeah, that yen is getting slammed, though. Like, historically speaking, you open up that dollar index here, you know, we're not in anything. Well, I mean, we're in weird territory, but it's not like crazy, right? In the scheme of things, we've been kind of here before, right? Up and around, doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. The Japanese yen, it's falling off a freaking cliff right now. So it's much less stable. But they were having issues because, remember, they were actually doing negative interest rates for a hot minute. And negative interest rates, it can do something funny with you, you know? Funny with the economy. So this is a $13 million market cap. This is going to be a very, very high risk one. It looks like you can buy it on Coinbase, though, which is good news for you. As far as the website's concerned, so I can actually what they do because the technicals don't matter at that small size. Let's see. Stablecoin built with auto yield on Arbitrum. Okay, so Arbitrum's been doing okay. SpareX USD is a primary protocol under the SpareX ecosystem. USDs are fully collateralized stablecoins backed by on-chain collateral and generates organic yield for its holders. USDs aims to be the premier trading pair on all L2 chains, level 2 chains. Auto-compute compounding, gasless reward, and stable return. 10% APR based on market conditions. So yeah, based on market conditions. That's a big one right there. Backed by Polychain Capital, Jump Trading, Amber, Outlier Ventures, and Steve Ako. So they have what they need. So my big thing is, I guess as time goes on, it'll become more powerful. I don't know if I necessarily want to invest in a stable coin, though. I think it could be worth a small amount of income, just like tossing it. It's at $13 million market cap. $100, $50, somewhere in there. Let it just sit and kind of see where it goes. But stuff like this, where it's not something that I typically like, I'm a big fan of, like just stablecoin stuff. I would probably just buy into it a little bit, see where it goes, and have some fun with it. You can buy it on Coinbase, mexicrypto.com, you know, a lot of different stuff, and that would probably be good, a good trade, or at least for this cycle. Afterwards, things might get a little bit more weird, because right now, especially Bitcoin's definitely looking a little more bearish than we would like it to be. Japan yen, Jasmine, yeah, definitely going through some stuff right now. But long term, maybe it'll make some good moves. Jasmine and Apple to save the people. I don't know. Maybe People Token is going to be good as well. Might have to wait a little bit longer. But okay, buddy, I'm going to call it a night here. I'm going to have to go make some dinner for me and my sister. Then I'm going to go out and smoke some cigars. I was going to smoke some cigars yesterday, but I did not. So because I didn't go out last night, I didn't make a video at the cigar lounge. I'll make a video tonight explaining what my thoughts are about Bitcoin a little bit more, and then just kind of going through some conversations with you guys. At this point in time, guys, it's chill. Bitcoin's still going down. I wish I could say something different. If you guys want to know when something different is happening, well, let me tell you. Well, we're going to see the MACD on the weekly chart turn bullish. We're going to see on the daily charts, we're going to see this be bullish, 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 plus a green change of character here, which we have not seen yet. Once this starts to turn green again, I'll be very, very happy. Sometimes you don't get to buy it before the large move up, but you still buy it and it still makes its way up to that level of resistance. So let's say it pops up here to 64,000. I'm still going to buy. I'm still going to ride it up here towards around 68,000 bucks, or maybe over here to the 50-day moving average around $66,000. That's my goal for right now. I feel no crazy incentive to be doing a lot of buying besides my typical dollar cost averaging and waiting for this market to give me some nice returns. The patience from this is a lot more difficult than normal, and I understand that. But hopefully, guys, here, we're going to be okay. It's still bearish, unfortunately. I'm going to be watching this specifically over the next few days, especially during the 4th of July when the market's closed. I want to see if we can get this ball rolling back up towards 66,000 to 70,000 bucks. I think it's possible, but it just might take until next Thursday when CPI data comes out. And of course, that's not going to be the best environment for us right now, just because it's a huge gamble.